Hello everyone, and welcome to my course on machine learning and deep learning inside the browser with the help of JavaScript library. Now this course is mainly focused on one of the JavaScript version of the deep learning library Tensorflow.js. But before diving into Tensorflow.js library, let's try to understand what Tensorflow.js is and what kind of computation flow this Tensorflow.js library will shift. So before that, let's try to understand where exactly this machine learning system executes. So generally, we have a front end available in our application. It can be anything, but for the sake of simplicity, let's take browser as our front end. And we have a backend services available. Now, while designing the machine learning system, generally this model building in a machine learning happens in a high-end programming language like a Python or R. That generally happens on a backend server-side languages. And after that, model got deployed on those backend server. Once the model got deployed on a server, this front-end application browser sends a request to get the inference about the data based on the what model we have deployed. And based on the model prediction capability on a server, it will return a result. Now, if you observe in this such a simple flow, all those training, testing, and inference kind of thing happens on a server side. There is nothing happen on a client side, on a browser side. Everything happens on a server side. So browser front-end application is just interacting with this backend server. There is no role of intelligent system has been deployed on a front-end application or a browser application. Now suppose we want to shift all those computation power from this server side stuff to the client side stuff. We need such a framework which can execute all those code inside the browser. And we know that browser can understand one language like a JavaScript. So we need some library of neural network model building or a machine learning related algorithm development inside the JavaScript. And for that, we have a solution available like a Tensorflow.js library. So let's see some of the client-side library and which are the libraries we are going to learn in this course. Although our mainly focus of this course to learn Tensorflow.js library. So some of the client-side ML library. One is a TensorFlow. We'll see from the next video what exactly TensorFlow is and how it came into existence from TensorFlow to TensorFlow JavaScript version. Then there is another high-end library which is written on the top of this TensorFlow, ML5. Now this ML5 is a library which is responsible for making very high-end application so that end user do not need to worry much about it, like a transfer learning application or directly using pre-trained model. So within just few lines of code, you can just simply deploy your application inside your browser. While running this all computation like a training, testing, inference on a client side, it has its own pros and cons. There are some advantages also we'll get. There are some disadvantages also. So we'll see in the next video what are those advantages and a disadvantage. So throughout this whole course, we'll be focusing on TensorFlow and a ML5, and there is one helper library we are going to use like a p5.js, which is a very much compatible library with this ML5. Alright, so this is all about what our focus throughout this whole course, Tensorflow.js library. From the next video, we'll see what those Tensorflow.js library is.